Hey everyone, and welcome to this deep dive. Today we're going to be exploring herd behavior.
Oh, fascinating topic.
It really is. I mean, it's something we encounter every single day, whether we realize it or not. And we're going to be using Jaron Partelli's book, Following the Crowd, to guide our exploration today. So have you ever wondered, like, why certain products, they become like instant must-haves?
Yeah.
Or why you sometimes, like, agree with your team even when you have doubts?
hmm
Well, you're in the right place.
It's amazing how herd behavior, it's not just about like teenagers following fashion trends or anything. It really is everywhere. Like we
Right.
see it in the stock market, on social media, even workplace decisions.
Yeah, yeah, it's this like fascinating undercurrent that's kind of influencing so much of our lives.
Absolutely.
So let's just dive right in. Maybe we can start off by kind of defining like what exactly is this herd behavior.
Well, Partelli defines herd behavior as, individuals making decisions based on the actions or beliefs of others, often leading to behavior that might not be like individually rational.
So it's not always about making a bad decision.
Yeah.
It's more about the influence of what everyone else is doing.
Exactly. It's like, especially when we're uncertain,
Yeah,
our brains kind of take a shortcut. We think, hey, if everyone else is doing it, it
right,
must be the right thing.
right.
And that's where, things get really interesting.
Okay, so like what are some of these psychological triggers
Oh, yeah.
that Pertelli talks about? The things that kind of really push us toward following the crowd.
One of the biggest ones is social proof.
Okay.
Think about like how online reviews can like sway your opinion on something,
hmm
even before you tried a product, like yourself.
Yeah.
That's social proof.
It's like we're wired to think, oh, if it's popular,
Right.
it must be good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like we equate popularity with quality
Yeah.
or validity.
Oh, that totally reminds me of those like ridiculous lines for the iPhone launch.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
People camping out for days just to get their hands on the latest model. Was it really about the phone itself?
Right.
Or was it about being part of that hype, part of the like exclusive crowd?
I think it was more of, the latter for sure.
Yeah.
Apple played that like social proof game masterfully,
Oh, it did?
creating this aura of exclusivity and desirability.
Totally.
And it worked like a charm, turning, a phone launch into a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah. Okay, so social proof, got it. What about that feeling of, I don't want to be the only one who doesn't get it?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Does that play into this whole thing too?
Absolutely. And that, that ties into another big trigger, conformity.
Yeah.
It's that pressure to fit in,
Yeah.
even if it means ignoring your own, like, better judgment. And
Yeah.
that can be as, like, subtle as agreeing with your colleagues in a meeting to, avoid rocking the boat.
Right.
Or as, dramatic as participating in a viral challenge, even if you have some reservations about it.
Yeah. It's like everyone was obsessed with those limited edition sneakers.
Mm-hmm.
Did you really need those sneakers?
Uh-huh.
Or were you just afraid of,
Right.
missing out on the next big thing?
That's FOMO.
Yeah.
Fear of missing out in its purest form. It's another, incredibly potent trigger fueling this whole herd mentality.
Yeah.
We're just bombarded with images of like everyone else,
Right.
having these amazing experiences, and we don't want to be left behind.
Right.
Makes sense, right?
Totally. And it's not just our peers, right?
Right.
Like celebrities, influencers, they have a huge impact too, especially online. I know Partelli was saying how a celebrity endorsement can make you consider something you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, they hold this like power to elevate a product's, status in our minds.
Right.
And suddenly it's like, well, if so-and-so uses it, it must be good.
Yeah, yeah.
And we forget that a lot of times it's just a paid promotion.
Totally. Okay, so we've got like social proof, conformity, FOMO.
Yeah.
They're all working together to make us follow the crowd.
Yeah.
But where do we actually see this happening? Like in the real world? I mean, beyond, the sneaker craze and all that.
Well, consumer behavior is probably the most obvious example.
Okay.
Think about Black Friday shopping.
Oh.
Those like limited time deals, the thrill of the crowd, it all fuels this impulsive buying frenzy.
Right.
Even if you didn't need like those discounted pajamas, in the first place, you get caught up in it.
Or even just like everyday purchases. Like how often do we go with a certain brand because it's like the industry standard?
Right.
Even if there might be better options out there. It's like we're on autopilot, just like following the herd.
I know. And this herd mentality doesn't stop at our, shopping carts.
Right.
It also infiltrates our workplaces.
Yeah.
Partelli highlights how this can be like a positive and a negative thing. It can foster like a sense of teamwork and cohesion,
Right.
but it can also stifle creativity and lead to, some really bad decisions.
I mean, like when everyone just goes along with the boss's idea,
Yes.
even if they have doubts.
Uh-huh.
I've definitely been in meetings where that's happened.
Oh, yeah.
It rarely ends well.
Exactly. That's a classic example of like groupthink,
Yeah.
where the pressure to conform overrides any like individual critical thinking,
Right.
and the group just like blindly charges ahead with, a potentially disastrous plan.
Yeah. And it's not always like a domineering boss leading the charge or anything.
No.
Sometimes it's just like the unspoken pressure to fit in, to not be the one who, rocks the boat.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. And to take like the trend of open office spaces,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of companies jumped on that bandwagon,
Right.
assuming it would, boost collaboration without really considering if it was the right fit for their needs.
So we've got like iPhone lines, Black Friday frenzies, open office plans. It's incredible how herd mentality plays out in so many different areas of our lives.
It really is.
But does this vary across cultures?
Oh, that's a great question.
Like, is it a universal phenomenon?
Partelli points out that, collectivist cultures,
Okay.
they tend to show stronger herd behavior compared to like individualistic cultures.
Okay.
So like think about, Asian cultures where group harmony is really emphasized. Like that can lead to, more pronounced herd behavior as individuals prioritize the collective good over personal preference.
Now that you mention it, I can see how that cultural value would influence decision making.
Yeah.
It makes you think about how deeply ingrained, this herd behavior can be, even on a societal level.
Absolutely.
But then there's social media, which seems to connect everyone, across cultures. So how does that play in?
Social media it's a whole other beast.
Yeah.
It's like it's created this global village,
Uh-huh.
yet we're all kind of living in our own little curated echo chambers.
Yeah.
Partelli observes how algorithms are designed to keep us engaged,
Right.
often by showing us content we already agree with.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like a personalized echo chamber,
Right.
reinforcing our existing beliefs and making us less likely to encounter diverse viewpoints.
I've definitely noticed that with my own social media feeds.
Yeah.
It's almost like I'm living in a bubble,
Right.
surrounded by people who just share my views.
Yeah.
And it feels comfortable, but is that really a good thing?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be exposed to different perspectives?
That's the danger of these echo chambers.
Yeah.
We become less open to new information.
Right.
And more susceptible to misinformation.
Right.
And even propaganda. It's like our critical thinking skills take a backseat to the comfort of confirmation bias.
So we've got social media amplifying these cultural dynamics.
Yeah.
Creating global trends, but then also reinforcing our own biases.
Exactly. It's almost like a double-edged sword.
Yeah. But what about education?
Oh, interesting.
Does this herd mentality affect how we learn, how we interact in those settings?
Absolutely. Think about the pressure students face to fit in,
Mm-hmm.
Be part of the in crowd.
Right.
This can have positive and negative effects.
Okay.
On the one hand, peer pressure can motivate students to study harder,
Right.
especially in group settings.
Yeah, study groups could be really beneficial for that.
Exactly.
But then there's also the dark side of that, the pressure to cheat
Oh, yeah.
or to just go along with whatever the, cool kids are doing,
Yeah.
even if it's wrong.
Exactly. Group projects can be a breeding ground for this herd mentality,
Uh-huh.
where individuals might conform to the group's ideas, even if they have doubts, just to, avoid conflict
Right.
or to appear agreeable. But here's the thing. It's not just about the platforms themselves,
Okay.
whether it's social media or, the classroom. Technology, particularly AI, is playing an increasingly sophisticated role in shaping
Yeah.
and even manipulating our herd behavior.
You mean how those online ads seem to know exactly what we're interested in?
Yes.
It's almost creepy.
I know. It's AI-powered targeting
Really?
at work. It's using data to analyze our online behavior,
Right.
our preferences, our social connections, and then it feeds us content and ads that are designed to appeal to our herd instincts.
Yeah.
It's like a personalized marketing machine,
Yeah?
leveraging our desire to, fit in and follow the crowd.
So is it all doom and gloom then?
Well, no, not at all.
Okay, good.
We're not like powerless
Okay.
in the face of these forces. There are definitely strategies that
Okay.
you can adopt to like navigate this complex world of herd behavior to become more conscious and intentional about our choices.
Okay.
And that's what we'll
Jump into.
dive into.
Yes.
Right after
No breaks.
Right, no breaks.
Yeah. No breaks. Let's keep this momentum going
Let's do it.
and jump right into those strategies. I'm on the edge of my seat. Like, how do we break free from this herd?
Let's get into it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So give us the rundown. What are some like practical strategies
Yeah.
we can use to, navigate this whole herd behavior thing?
Yeah, well, the first step is really simple, but like so powerful.
Okay.
And it's individual awareness,
Okay.
We need to pay attention to our own thoughts and feelings and really ask ourselves, why am I making this choice?
Right.
Am I genuinely interested in this? Or am I just, kind of going with the flow?
Yeah. It's like taking that extra beat before you hit like add to cart
Yes.
for that, trendy new gadget, or before you jump on the latest social media challenge. It's about like asking yourself, do I really want this?
Yeah.
Or am I just letting the, hype carry me away?
Precisely. It's about like recognizing that influence of the herd
Right.
without letting it like totally dictate your decisions.
Okay.
Reclaiming your agency.
Okay. So step one, check in with our own like internal compass. What's next?
Step 2 is all about flexing those critical thinking muscles.
Oh, yeah.
Question everything,
Okay.
especially like information you come across online and opinions that presented as like expert advice.
Right.
Don't just accept things at face value.
It's like being a detective. Right.
Exactly.
You have to look for clues, weigh the evidence, and not be afraid to ask why,
Yes,
or to like seek out different perspectives.
exactly.
In fact, that should be encouraged.
It should be. Which brings us to like the third strategy,
Okay.
actively seeking out diverse opinions.
Okay.
It's about surrounding yourself with people who, challenge your assumptions.
Yeah.
People who bring different life experiences
Right.
and perspectives to the table.
So it's like building your own like personal board of advisors.
Oh, I like it.
People who will give you like the unvarnished truth, not just what you want to hear.
Right, and that diverse input, it is key
Yeah.
for making better decisions in your personal life, in your professional life.
Right.
And it helps you avoid getting, trapped in those echo chambers,
Right.
both online and offline.
Okay. So we've kind of like unpacked what herd behavior is,
Uh-huh.
the like psychological tricks it uses,
Right.
where we see it popping up,
Yeah.
and even how like technology is amplifying it. But I think the big question is, why should we even care?
Oh, good question.
Like, does it really matter if we get, swept up in the latest trend?
Yeah.
Or like buy something we don't really need?
Oh, it matters a lot more than you might think.
Okay.
The ripple effects of herd behavior, they go way beyond just buying the, wrong pair of shoes. It can create like wild swings in financial markets,
Oh, yeah.
leading to like boom and bust cycles. Think about like the housing bubble
Right.
and the stock market crash
Yeah.
of 2008. Herd mentality played a huge role in both of those events.
It's almost like we're kind of collectively creating these self-fulfilling prophecies.
Right.
We see prices going up, and then we get caught up in the fear of missing out.
Yeah.
We rush to buy in, pushing prices even higher, and then boom, the bubble bursts. Everyone panics, they sell, sending prices plummeting.
It's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And it's not just like economics either.
Right.
Herd behavior can like distort political discourse,
Mhm.
making us really vulnerable to, misinformation and propaganda.
It's like our critical thinking just goes out the window when we're presented with information that confirms our existing biases.
Exactly. Especially if it comes from, a source we trust or a group we identify with.
Yeah.
And this can have serious consequences, eroding trust in institutions, fueling like social divisions. Right.
And even like undermining democratic processes.
So it's not just about like making smarter decisions as individuals.
No.
It's about understanding this powerful force that's,
Right.
shaping our world
It's shaping our world.
in ways we don't even realize.
Often in ways we don't even realize.
It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about how herd behavior has shaped like civilizations throughout history,
Yeah.
for better or for worse.
Yeah.
We were talking earlier about those like historical examples, the Salem witch trials, where mass hysteria and fear led to the unjust persecution of innocent people.
Right.
That's a chilling reminder of how this herd mentality can have like harmful outcomes.
It is a sobering thought,
Yeah.
but it also like reminds us of the power of individual courage
Mm-hmm.
and like critical thinking. You know, think about figures like Rosa Parks
Right.
refusing to give up her seat on the bus, or Galileo
Yeah.
challenging the prevailing view of the universe.
Like these individuals, they dared to stand apart from the crowd, to
Mm.
speak truth to power,
Yeah.
even when it was, unpopular or dangerous.
And those acts of defiance, like they ignite movements, they change the course of history.
They do.
It's inspiring to think that we all have that potential, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To like make a difference, to resist the pull of the herd
Yeah.
when it's leading us, in the wrong direction.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that herd behavior isn't like inherently good or bad.
Okay.
It's a force.
Yeah.
Like a neutral energy that can be harnessed,
Right.
for positive change,
Right.
or it can lead to negative outcomes.
Right. Right.
The key is awareness, critical thinking, and like a willingness to challenge the status quo.
So we've talked about like how to spot herd behavior,
Right.
how to recognize its influence, in our own lives, in the world. But how can we actually use this knowledge to make a difference? Like beyond just being more mindful of our own choices.
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, if you're in like a leadership position,
Okay.
you can create an environment that values independent thinking
Okay.
and encourages like respectful dissent. Don't be afraid to ask your team, what do you think?
Right.
Foster a culture where people feel safe to speak up, even if their views, differ from the majority.
And if you're a member of a team, don't be afraid to like voice your concerns.
Yeah.
Even if you're the only one who feels that way.
Yeah.
You might be surprised to find that others share your doubts, but they're just, hesitant to speak up.
Absolutely. And if you're like active on social media,
Yeah.
be more discerning about the content you consume and share. Fact check before you retweet.
Right.
Engage with diverse perspectives. Don't let your algorithm dictate your reality.
Mm-hmm.
Make a conscious effort to like step outside of that echo chamber.
Yeah.
Expose yourself to different viewpoints.
It's about becoming more conscious consumers of information.
Yes.
Both online and offline. Remembering that like the loudest voices don't always represent the truth or
Exactly.
the most informed perspective.
Exactly. And it's about remembering that the crowd isn't always right.
Right.
Sometimes the most impactful decisions, the ones that really like drive progress,
Yeah.
or the ones that go against the grain.
It's like that quote attributed to Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has.
Oh, I love that quote.
Yeah.
That's a powerful reminder that like change often starts with individuals
Mm-hmm.
who dare to like challenge the status quo,
Yeah.
who are willing to swim against the current,
Yeah.
even when it's difficult, even when it's unpopular. So yes, herd behavior is powerful,
Okay.
but we are not powerless in its grip.
We can choose to be informed, to be critical, to use our voices to amplify the messages that matter to us. We can choose to be the change,
Yes.
we wish to see in the world.
Beautifully said.
So we've covered a lot of ground today. I think the key takeaway is this. Herd behavior is powerful, but we have the power to choose how we respond to it. We can be swept along by the current, or we can learn to, swim against it when we need to.
Yeah, that's what makes this whole conversation so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not about like eradicating herd behavior because, that's impossible.
Oh, right.
It's about understanding it, recognizing its influence, and then, making conscious choices about how we engage with it.
And that brings us to a final thought for you to ponder as you go about your day. Something to really chew on based on all these insights from Partelli. Now that you're aware of this whole herd behavior thing,
Right.
just start noticing it in your daily life. Where do you see it playing out?
How does it subtly or not so subtly influence like your choices? From the coffee you buy to the opinions you share to the, even the career path you choose.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself following the herd?
Right.
And maybe more importantly, where do you see yourself resisting it?
And here's the real kicker. How can you use this knowledge to make more informed, more authentic decisions? that really align with your values and your goal.
That's where the real power lies, yeah.
That's where the real power lies. It's been like an incredible deep dive today.
It has.
We hope you found it insightful, maybe even a little bit mind-blowing.
We've certainly enjoyed unpacking these ideas with you.
And as always, we invite you to share your observations, or ask any questions on social media.
Yeah.
We love hearing from you. And who knows, maybe your insights will spark the next deep dive. Until next time, keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep diving